You guys awake? It's like end of the day.
GM. How we doing, NFT Paris? That's not bad for like late on the second day, but need to hear a bit more. Come on. NFT Paris. There we go. I'm Matt Medved, co-founder, CEO, editor-in-chief of Now Media. You know us for NFT Now, The Gateway, and all sorts of fun things. We've got the Doodles panel. Super excited about this. It's a quick one. We only got 20 minutes, so we're gonna go through a ton of stuff. There's obviously a lot to talk about. Why don't we just jump in with a round of like really quick intros, just what each of you guys do for the team, and then there's lots to get into.
I'm Austin. I do business, head of strategy and BD.
I'm a Greenie product manager at Doodles.
My name's Squinch. Please ignore the doxing on the board. It's spelled wrong anyway. I'm head of product at Doodles.
There we go. Kind of a newsworthy week, right? Just like a few things, kind of happened in the past 24, 48 hours, right? If in case you were living under a rock, obviously Doodles officially announced the Dude token, which I know is highly, highly anticipated. What can you tell us about the role it's going to play in the ecosystem?
Sure, I'll take it, and we can riff off each other, guys. Feel free. But Dude is the official token of Doodles. It is finally here. It is coming. I know there's been, there we go. Here we go. I know there's been a lot of speculation for a long time. We wanted to release it at the right moment. We're really excited about this for the community. This is an opportunity for the entire community to grow. We've had a phenomenal few years really building the brand, growing it to new heights, partnering with some of the biggest brands in the world, and now it's time to grow our ecosystem through the Dude token coming to Solana very soon.
I love it. Anything you guys wanted to add, or?
Send me CA. I'll DM it to you, bro. No, we'll get there. It'll come out.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the decision to launch it on Solana and also the decision to bridge to Base, because I know obviously Doodles has other assets on Base, and curious about how that'll kind of interface from a product perspective.
Well, from a product perspective, we were talking about it a bit this morning, actually, and everything that we've done on Doodles product is we pick the chain for non-religious reasons. We pick the chain for the place where we can get the user experience that is best for that particular product, or we can get it in front of as many eyeballs as that product needs to be in front of. So when we first started our wearables ecosystem, we started it on Flow, which was an unpopular choice, but at the time, that was where you could use an email to get a wallet. You could have, transactions where the user didn't have to sign. We had an experience there that was Web 2 enough for us to start to bring people into the experience that we really dreamed of. And as we saw that develop on L2s, on Ethereum, we moved our whole studio product onto Base, because that's the place where we could get that thing done, where the builders were, where the ecosystem was really living. And in a similar way, tokens going to market right now, we see a lot of consumer activity. We see easy adoption of tokens on Solana, and with our goal to spread this token to as many people as possible, make as many new community members as we can. The ecosystem there and the technology there, the UX of the product of the token on launch is best on Solana. With the rest of our ecosystem living on Base, like I said, finding the place that the product works best for the use case at any given time is always the goal. So for any other things that we may want to be doing for the Base ecosystem that we really love, there's space for it there too. And unlike how things kind of historically have been, the creation of a token is not a one-way door. I guess it's a one-way door that leads into like a mini forked hallway. And so the opportunity for us to put that product in the place where it needs to be for the best access to the best users and the best user experience is open to us, and we know one of those places is Base.
I love those insights. And I know you also released some information on the tokenomics and the distribution. If you kind of want to just maybe run through like what was the rationale or strategy there.
Spreadsheet guy, hit it.
We spent a lot of time on the tokenomics. I think there's maybe a conception that they're pretty easy to put together, or that they sort of fall into place. Never ever happens. We've been through dozens of iterations around them. At the end of the day, the thing that was most important to us with our tokenomics that we've said for a very long time was community first. And that was like really what we wanted to hit at the heart of this. And not only community first, but team last. Team company last. And we really spent a lot of time kind of figuring out the best way to construct the token in a way that not only shows our love to our holders, but that allows us to bring in all the new participants in the ecosystem that we want. So it's been through hell and back a little bit to get it there, but we're very happy with where it ended up. A lot of different opinions, a lot of eyeballs on it, and I think everyone's pretty happy.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Well, it really does feel like a new era for Doodles. I know that obviously this is a big step. Earlier this month, in the past month, also announced a leadership change, right? With Julian's departure as CEO and Scott Burnt Toast kind of taking the wheel and stepping in there. I'm curious, like what does that shift? What does that signal in terms of like a shift in Doodle strategy?
Yeah, I think for us, it's going back to our roots a little bit. Obviously, incredibly thankful for the time Julian had at Doodles, and we all are really just grateful for the time that we had together. But Scott is the lifeblood of Doodles. We've always said that from the very beginning. Like, there is no Doodles without Burnt Toast. He's always been at the forefront of that. He's been on the leadership team. I think there's a misconception that he's like coming back into the company. Didn't go anywhere. He's just expanding his role.
We could never, ever release a product without him going through and being like, that gray is not dark enough. You're like every color, every stroke, everything.
Yeah, the live creations when we're on like leadership executive calls is very funny. Like, no, Scott, you can't do that right now. Like we gotta focus on this. But it's honestly, it is so refreshing how nimble we have been. We make decisions very quickly, and that is really a credit to him. He's incredibly decisive, and he also empowers all of us. He's the most low ego leader I think I've ever met. It's very much about building up individuals, and he's the first to say, like, I don't know, I trust you guys, or I want to learn more about this. And so it's been great. Like, even just running around Paris this week, we were like spray painting, Scott was spray painting the doodles, and we were hiding stuff.
We went out and we were blacking out the vinyls, like at this parking garage, and blacking them out to go hide them for, holders to go find. And I was like, I found a part of this wall at the parking garage where I was like, dude, Scott, this would be a really good place to just tag that, just the dot in the line. And he was like, oh, somebody else's tag used to be there. I wouldn't do that. And there's like this big blank wall on the side. And he was like, I'm going to hit that. And he walks over, and then he goes, like this big arc. And I was like, and started cleaning up all the bottom. Like, he is out there, and he wants to spread Doodles, and he wants to be with our community and be with us on the ground. And it feels old crypto punk rock a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. And like, we've gotten really heady, and we got a lot of heady stuff going on in product. And so to like be there with the artist who wants to make art and make the whole company and the community and the things that we create together a work of art, like a collective art project, is it's an inspiring and powerful thing. I think everybody's liking it. I don't know, Greenie, are you sad?
Am I sad?
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say we did an interview this morning, and it was nice to hear him put it into his own words. But he said, we're here for the art, and we're here for the tech, and that's the foundation of why we're here. But what keeps us going and why we love coming here every day is the community. And like, I think he's finding a deeper sense of that community now, not only just being involved with us, but appearing more in community spaces with holders, showing up to events, things like that. Like, I think he's really finding his groove and like where he fits into the Doodles community, the broader Web3 community, and is like really embracing that and kind of bringing that back into all of the decisions he makes at a leadership level. So it's been really great to see.
I love that, and we've had some conversations on it, but I think it's also indicative of like a greater trend in Web3. We've seen, for example, with Yuga Labs, Garga stepping back to the fore, taking over for Daniel Allegre. We've seen something similar with Cool Cats, and these original Web3 founders, the Web3 native, kind of taking back the wheel. And so one thing that was really interesting and stuck out to me from Scott's post announcing it was he said the extractive corpo era of Doodles is over. And I know that Doodles has been known for very big brand partnerships like McDonald's and Crocs, et cetera. So I'm curious, like, Austin, what does that mean for your brand partnership, your biz dev going forward?
Yeah, I think that really resonated with a lot of people, and maybe some others like had some question marks about it. But I think we historically have gotten a little bit of a bad rap around sometimes feeling a bit extractive or doing things that didn't feel very community aligned. And part of that was we took inventory as a team collectively at the end of last year and looked at all of our accomplishments, and we were really proud of a lot of the things that we were able to put into the world, but we were also really honest with ourselves that some of those things didn't fully resonate with us as individuals. Like, would we go and want to participate in that? Would we go and want to buy that thing? And it was kind of just like a wake-up call, I think, for all of us, that if it's not a, excuse my French, but if it's not a fuck yes from all of us around the table, that like
That's one. You only get
that's one. I only get one.
You're officially on notice.
But truly, like, if we have our creative director Sammy talks about this idea of like the tree house, and all of us being in the tree house together, building. It's creative, it's product, it's business. We collectively need to feel like it is a FES to put it out into the world. And I think there were some things last year where like we were excited about the quality of the product, but it wasn't like we would actively participate in that. And so that's something that like we're really conscious of moving forward with everything that we bring to the market.
Yeah, additionally, like we found the partnership rhythm that we were in, and the way that we could express our brand through those partners that was really popular initially through our pack model in the studio was like it is a method of distribution for these Web 2 partners, for bringing people in the door to create, like, it has this like kind of fun like early NFT like mint vibes where like you don't know if you're gonna pull a rare. There's a lot of really powerful qualities in that, but sometimes when you know, as a product person, when you find that kind of like powerfully sticky user experience, then you just say like, oh well, that's the thing. And then you just do that thing. And the way that we tell our stories on the content side, there's this linear progression. There's like a twist. There's a message inside of it. And one of the things that we noticed in kind of like reviewing what we were doing is that our content like regularly goes viral, speaks to so many people, is so powerful, and then it stops at the product, and then we say like, okay, now adopt this other thing. And so like a big focus kind of on the onboarding and growth side of our product strategy for next year is to take that story that you see in that piece of art, in that content, drive it through into a crypto native experience, and then allow the community and the participants to really finish that story off. Because that's what happened for some of the packs. Like that, the experience of people opening them and sharing them and finding things, like that was the end of the story. Like people did that together and it was hype. But then it dries up because like that distribution model doesn't work for everything. And so making the art run full story from the content through crypto to the community and to us, like all being a part of that experience together, I think is like one of the most important strategic changes around that feels more aligned with who we are as creatives, from engineering to the illustrators.
No, I love that. That's great. Super, super helpful insights. You know, some of the things you guys have been known for as well. You acquired the animation studio, Golden Wolf, Doodles Records, everything you've done with Pharrell as chief brand officer, and all the artist collaborations. What role do those play in the future roadmap for Doodles now?
Yeah, we're still a transmedia storytelling company. We're still very, wanting to activate across media and brand partnerships and music, and I think we would be doing a disservice to ourselves if we didn't continue to activate in that way. But I think the key thing is that we need to what Remy was saying, like really have a perspective and have a story that we are trying to tell with each of those. So it's not just checking off the box, it's making sure that it really resonates with our community. We did a lot of work last year to really prove out to the Web 2 industry that these types of partnerships can be very productive on both sides. And so the kind of relationship of those has changed. Like we were doing a lot of outbound last year, and now it's a lot of inbound. Like when you work with a McDonald's, when you work with a Coil Ray, a Lil Wayne, a Lil Yachty, it changes like, oh, okay, I can see the model now. Like I get it. So I think that just makes our jobs a lot easier, and we can be very selective with how we're trying to move these forward. But it's integral to us as a brand. Those aren't going anywhere.
And I think that, as we mentioned, sort of like this new era for Doodles, and it's been reflected, I think, in some of the branding as well, like the Dark Dudes campaign. How has the community been responding to that? This sort of like almost like aging up the brand.
I don't know. Are there any Doodles in here? How you feeling? What's up, Happy? I think everybody's been vibing, man. I was talking to some Doodles last night, and one of them was wearing this black hat with if you know the traits, it's called the default face. It's got it's R in Morse code, dot, dash, dot. And that face was on there, and we were talking about, some discussions that happened internally about whether it should be smiling or not, because Hap's generally smiling in most of our marketing materials. And Scott was really, really diligent about the fact that it needed to be default, it needed to be stoic. He didn't want someone smiling at you when the market was red. He wanted the place right in between, kind of this you're not sure what's going to happen next. And it felt like something kind of new for us because we had been so cheery for so long. And the holder that I was talking to pointed at his hat, and he was like, this hat came before all that. So it's old school. You know what I mean? It's not a new thing. It's where Doodles started.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing to hear from a lot of the community has been that this new shift towards the dark mode vibe, and it is a significant one, but it's not a permanent one. It's not it's not even really super unique. I think it's just that for us, it's taking it back to the roots of Scott's art, which speaks a lot to this sort of playful cynicism, a little bit of darkness, things like that. And I've heard quite a lot of people say that this is what they always wanted. This is what this new sort of vibe is what they've always felt was underneath, and we're waiting to come out. And we transitioned to it kind of hard, but I think that even through the token announcement video that we put out, I think we're beginning to tell that story of what that transition looks like and why, from sort of this old take on the Doodleverse to the new one. So.
Well, and with that too, we put out a Valentine's bit on Instagram today, and it's cute as hell. So we're not going yo, Doodles, we got it all around here. But right now, we needed a minute to just be oh, shit. You know what I mean? And just wake up and be ready for something different. Get a little bit more how we are as people. Like Austin said, we had our user. I'm always gonna do product-y stuff when I talk, but our user that we focused on was when you're working with McDonald's, the user is America. You know what I mean? It's or when it's coffee, it's I don't know, 15 and up. And so you're looking at such a broad swath of people that the direction has to be incredibly palatable for everyone. And a lot of the time it was kind of a generic early teen kind of user cohort, which can't really use crypto and generally doesn't. But in that moment that we discovered that we really need to, as a creative company, be focusing on the things that just we wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, the things that just hype us all up. This is kind of the call to arms for all of us to together as a Doodles community to come together and make something that means something to us, not for other people, because they're looking now. We got them. It's inbound. You know what I mean? Now that they're looking at us, we can show them who we are. We don't have to be a part of their culture. They're coming to our culture.
Love that, love that. I think one of the things that, one of the challenges that a lot of Web3 projects face is the ton of tension between bringing in new people, creating sustainable business models, while also driving value back to holders. Sometimes these things, sometimes wins on one front don't necessarily translate to wins on the other front. So how do you think about what does success look like for Doodles in this next chapter?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything particular because I'm an American, but I will say that tokenization is a good method of distributing value, and I think we're at a blockchain convention because we all know and believe in that. Shirley's looking at me.
I think on that note, we are out of time. So give it up for the Doodles team.
Yo, Doodles, we love you.